Good morning. It is Monday, November 8th, 2021. I'm back here for Daily Shakeup number 421. And today we're going to talk about why, finding our why, but perhaps in a different way than I've talked about it. And maybe you think about it, or we typically think about it, or the way Simon Sinek thinks about it. He wrote a book called Start With Why, which is all about understanding the why and sort of the driver why, that thing that compels us, what our purpose is, what our passion is, that sort of emotionally connected why that allows us to create unique outcomes, experiences, organizations, etc. I want to talk about it a little differently, but the why is still the driver, but the reasoning behind it's a little different. So here's the phrase I want to plant with you here at the beginning. When you find your why, you find your way. When you find your why, you find your way. Now, that could also be true for sort of that understanding your purpose-driven, your passion-driven why, your reasons for wanting to do things. That can help you find your way and achieve along the way for sure. But this is what I want to get at. I'm talking about overcoming our obstacles, getting out of our own way, getting out of the things that are holding us back or getting past them. Because typically, or too often, we try and change behavior without understanding what's driving the behavior. And my point here is, and the best way to find your way through the obstacles, through the delays, through the setback, through whatever it is that's holding you back or getting in your way, is to understand why that's happening in order to leave that behind. So let me give you a very specific example where this came up recently with a coaching client. I was asking this person about, what are some of the key reasons, what they called their why, as to the reasons they were not as consistent as they'd like to be with their business development outreach efforts. Now, here's a hint, and I've said it on some other topics. When you ask that why question, you've got to be really careful because typically your first answer will not be the truth. It'll be a reason, also known as an excuse. So we've got to ask ourselves some deeper whys. Keep saying, yeah, but what if it's not that? Why? Because typically, I have found that unless we get to the fourth or sixth level of why, we don't have the real why. So his first why was, I've just got all this other work on my plate. Well, we know that's not really the issue. It can be a factor, but it's not the core issue, because if that was the case, we're always going to have other things that are getting in the way of the things we say are priorities, but we're not prioritizing them. After a few more questions, 3 or 4 more whys, we got down to some deeper meaning, some deeper whys. For him, it was he has some significant discomfort with the outreach. So in other words, he's going to unconsciously, until he brings it into his conscious awareness, avoid some of these things because he's uncomfortable doing them. He also feels like he's not always sure how to do them. And part of his discomfort is his nature or personality. Part of it is he feels like he's bugging people. Well, if those are the things driving his decision making, even at an unconscious level, he's typically going to put other things ahead of the things that make him uncomfortable. So that's what I mean by, if we can find the why, we can find the way. Because the more we understand them, acknowledge them, and bring them into our self-awareness and certainly our conscious awareness, they are least likely to trip us up. So that's the message today. When it comes to finding your way past your obstacles or your distractions or whatever's getting in your way, find the real true why or whys that are driving that, and then you'll find your way through those obstacles, overcoming those obstacles, and in order to achieve the objectives you desire. Love to hear your thoughts, comments, and questions. That's it for today. Keep taking care of yourself and everyone around you, and by all means, stay connected.